Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Dominic and I'm going to tell you a little tale of blockchain. And so my first question to all of you, like, who here has never heard of blockchain? Okay, that's a good start. Because it's quite crucial that you have some background knowledge here. So the future of mobility depends on us solving this crucial problem. Like, how can one machine, how can one car pay another machine, another car? Because the thing is, in the future, we are no longer going to rely on a central financial institution or on the cloud processing all of those transactions, but instead we want to make it possible for one machine to pay directly another machine. What this means is that in the future, all of our machines, all of our cars are going to have a wallet. And because they have a wallet, they are kind of their own economic agents, because now they can start paying for services and they can start earning money with this ability to do machine-to-machine payments. So the thing is, so far nobody has solved this problem, but it's quite important that we are taking the next step to develop this machine economy, because the future of mobility is really going to be where one car that has access capacity, like for example storage or bandwidth or computational capacity, needs to be able to sell this storage and needs to be able to sell these resources to another machine. And through that we kind of get this bottom-up machine economy where it's no longer about the cloud, but it's all about fog computing, where we start making decisions locally and where machines and cars are starting to do economic transactions locally between each other. So like I was asking about blockchain before, the thing is the only way to truly achieve something like this machine economy, is if we have a blockchain. So a blockchain is this decentralized peer-to-peer network where instead of having a financial institution doing all of the transactional settlement, it happens through the network. So through the network we are able to make it possible for one machine to pay another machine without the involvement of any corporate, without the involvement of any bank. But the thing is, blockchain has been in development for the past 9 years now. And it still has big problems to solve, especially when it comes to scalability, transaction fees, and also the specific and high hardware requirements that we have today. And as such, most of the business models and most of the applications that we want to build on top of a blockchain cannot run in production. Exactly because of that, we at IOTA went on this quest to solve this problem. Like, all of us are blockchain pioneers, so we've been in this space since 2010. You probably see from my clothes, I don't even wear a suit. And so the thing is, the way that we try to solve this problem is to no longer think about blockchains. Because the thing about the blockchain is that it's inherently limited. We have to sequence a chain where you can only do a certain number of transactions per second. And what we did is we came up with a completely new architecture which is called the IOTA Tangle. So I don't want to confuse it with too much technical jargon, but the beauty of the system is that it's asynchronous. So now we no longer need to wait for transactions to be confirmed in cycles, but instead transactions are confirmed asynchronously, and as such we are able to achieve much higher transaction throughput, and transactions are able to be confirmed much faster. And what our protocol really enables is two things. For one, obviously this machine-to-machine payment. So now we are able to give our cars, our machines, a wallet, and those cars and those machines are able to pay each other, also micropayments. And what's equally important to that is that our blockchain, our distributed ledger architecture, also has this component of data integrity. So if you have a vehicle, you obviously want to have to secure all the trail, like what happened at each point in time. And the thing is, the only way to truly achieve tamper-proof data is with such a system like IOTA. I can start putting data into this mesh, into this database, and it can never be tampered with again. And so through that, you can start deriving some very interesting use cases, which I'm going to explain quite soon. So the real power of IOTA is that there are no longer any transaction fees. So as you probably know today, micropayments are impossible because there's always some MasterCard, some Visa, some financial intermediary taking a cut. And as such, you cannot send 1 cent and receive 1 cent in today's system. But with IOTA, for the first time in human history, you're actually able to send a cent and you're able to receive a cent. And truly peer-to-peer, truly trustless. And second to that, obviously, IOTA is scalable. It's the first distributed ledger that has solved the scalability issues of blockchain. And if you look at this graph here, the beauty of IOTA is that the larger the network gets, the faster the transactions get confirmed, and as such, we are truly able to run our business models and our applications in production. And IOTA has been live since 2015. And so far, more than $4 billion have been transacted with our protocol. So that's quite an achievement, but there's still so much more work to do to really enable this machine economy. And that's what we are doing. So one of the aspects of us is that we are not a startup, so we are a non-profit foundation, so everything that we do is purely driven by this non-profit mantra that we need to develop an open source protocol and open source standard that all of the competitors in the mobility space are actually able to adopt. And because of that, we've set up a non-profit foundation in Germany, which is there to further develop the protocol and to also standardize it, so that we truly have an open standard for machine-to-machine payments. And so far we are more than 30 people, so what we do is really hardcore research and development, because the thing is, blockchain is such a very niche technology that there are very few experts in the world, and we employ some of the few experts that are truly able to help us overcome the technical limitations and bring to the world a protocol that can run in production and that can solve real big business problems. And we also have some pretty good advisors, mostly from the industry, like for example the CIO of SAP, the ex-CIO of SAP, or Richard Soli, who's running the Industrial IT Consortium, and some others. What we truly want to achieve with this IOTA Foundation, with this non-profit foundation, is to bring on board all of the different corporates to one table. Because only if we work together, we can actually solve the problems that blockchain has, and start collaborating towards a better future. So some use cases that I want to mention here. So one of the first use cases that we've been working on together with Volkswagen and with Energies is Car Pass project. So basically what we're doing there is we're integrating IOTA into the car, and what we're doing there is we're constantly storing the audit trail of the car, like what is happening at each point in time. One of the specific use cases is, for example, the odometer state. The thing about odometer is that it's very easy to fake. Like you watch a YouTube tutorial and then you're able to fake the odometer state, and through that you're able to sell your car with a much higher margin. And with a system like IOTA, it's no longer possible to fake the reality. Because every time you drive, every time someone sends the car, we securely log this in our database, and it can never be tampered with. Again, as such, we truly have an audit trail that can be shared with third parties, and the third parties can actually trust the data that they get. And it is incredibly important, especially for cars and especially for autonomous vehicles, because the future of autonomous vehicles really depends on how secure can we make these cars. And a system like IOTA is, in my opinion, really a crucial component to achieve this vision of autonomous vehicles. And this is one of the first projects where we're truly going in that direction. Another very interesting use case that we're working on right now is together with Energies, this Share and Charge project. So basically what we're doing there right now is we're simulating how a car can drive from Oslo to Rome purely based on IOTA and blockchain-based EV charging stations. So basically what we're showing is that the car has its wallet, the EV charging station has its wallet, and they're transacting directly with each other. So every time the EV charging station sends a kilowatt per hour, the car is able to send a micropayment to the charging station, and as such they've successfully completed this economic transaction. And that's obviously one of the first truly touchable use cases that makes a lot of sense, because the transaction settlement today with some of those EV charging stations is quite stupid. Sometimes you have to make a deposit of 50 euros, and only after you finish charging you're able to get your remainder back. What we're doing here is we're doing this direct settlement between the car and the EV charging station. Another interesting use case is OTA updates, so over-the-air updates. So what we're showcasing here is this end-to-end verifiability. The thing about OTA updates is that if the data transmission can be tapped by a malicious actor, they can also start tampering with the software update. And obviously we want to truly fight against such attacks, because those kind of systems are really running on millions of cars that we have out there today. And as such, we need to be able that the car is in this verifiable environment where it can say, hey, this update that was pushed by Volkswagen, was pushed by BMW, is actually the update that I'm going to integrate right now. And with IOTA, we have this end-to-end verifiability, where the car can verify the data that it has actually received is valid and has not been tampered with. Another very interesting use case that we work on right now is this data marketplace. So in the beginning of October, we are going to launch the first blockchain-based data marketplace. And basically what we want to showcase there is two things. For one, does a data marketplace on top of a distributed ledger actually make sense? And secondly, we want to showcase, hey, like, what do those micropayment-based business models actually look like? And here we're working together with more than 24 of the largest corporates in the world, who are then going to buy and sell data from their cars or from their weather stations or from any kind of sensor or machine that is connected with the real world. And the beauty of this system is that IOTA is there to do the transaction settlement, meaning those micropayments, and it's also there to do this data integrity, so that you know the sensor that has input the data into the tangle and wants to sell this data is actually authentic. And this kind of data marketplace is incredibly important for smart cities, because now with such a data marketplace, we're able to acquire data on demand, and as such we can start improving our machine learning algorithms, our analytics, and as such truly build a more intelligent and more adaptive environments than we have today. So yeah, any questions about any of the stuff that I've said? Yeah. So that is that's a very important question. So we are driven by non-profit. So we earn money through 3 streams. For one, we are setting up an alliance where corporates can join and they pay a yearly membership fee, so similarly to the Linux Foundation, because obviously those corporates have an incentive to join to support such an alliance. And secondly, we do it via grants. So we've already gotten grants from the German or the Swiss government. And thirdly, we have tokens.
The companies have any influence on your decisions while you are going to implement the cars?
Yeah, so what we're setting up is kind of a governance structure, where obviously we want to have corporates a say. They need to have a say on the kind of direction that we're taking. Obviously we're the only technical experts, so we're trying to come up with a governance structure that makes sense for the corporates and makes sense for this community that we have. Yeah.
One last question. You mentioned that IOTA hasn't a chain and hasn't a block. It's a blockchain company, but it hasn't a block and it hasn't a chain. So where is the authentication for payments? If I pay another car, or one car pays another car, so there must be a trusted chain, right?
Right. So the thing you have to keep in mind is that IOTA is still based on the same principles. It's still a peer-to-peer network, it's still an append-only database, it's still decentralized, it's still tamper-proof. The thing is, we just have a very different way to achieve consensus, because what we've realized is that everything that is based on a blockchain is not scalable, it is incredibly expensive to maintain, and most of the corporates don't want to use it. And as such, we've come up with this architecture. I can't go back. We've come up with this architecture, which is, instead of having this sequential chain, we kind of have this multi-threaded system. And as such, we've overcome these limitations of blockchain. But it's still decentralized. And arguably it's more decentralized than any blockchain will ever be, because blockchains have those miners. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, any other questions? Cool, thank you.
Yeah.